Hey, it's Brandon with RV Traveling with Six. We've been mooch docking for the last month or so. It's actually rolling off into about a month and a half now during this coronavirus. So it's kind of our home base. But since we've been here, we've been encountering a lot of tornadic weather. And so I figure I'd throw out some tips out there for other fellow full-timers, for people that are interested in going full-time, what to expect, and the gear that you might want to equip yourself with. So one of the main things that I reached out and bought is a NOAA radio. It's a LaCrosse. The model's 810 163 TWR. And what you can do with these is once you get into an area, you can turn it on and put it in a standby mode. Once you turn it on, it'll go on a scan.
Mostly sunny. Complex will exit the region prior to the night with a severe threatening with the
And you want to
departure of
find
the
the
storm. For the period Wednesday.
local radio station that's nearest to you, and then you can place it in a standby. And these offer two options. You can put it into all weather alerts, or you can put it in just for tornadoes. And what it'll do, once NOAA sends out the alert, it'll go off and it'll flash red and blue depending on, that's if it's a tornado, and it'll flash red. If it's just a warning, it'll be, or a watch, it'll be in orange, and the advisory is going to be in yellow. But these are real nice to have. It does take 3 AA batteries, and then of course you'll have a flashlight on it as well. It's a great tool to have, especially when you're full-time in an RV. So something else you might want to do is to take a look at everything that you have on the outside of your rig. As you can see, we got the flagpoles. It's a Go Stick product. The last event that happened, I left that up. I'll throw some footage up. It actually held up. I shouldn't have left it up. I totally forgot about it, but the weather came up on us real quick. Didn't have enough time to react, and so we left it up, but it did cock it sideways, had a little paint chipped off to the side, but I'll be making sure I take those down. While I'm doing this video, we actually have some tornadic weather coming in tonight, so I'm actually doing two things at once, actually prepping for an actual storm coming in, and then also demonstrating what we do to take action. Of course, I also have our folding table, lawn chairs, and the stroller out as well, so I'll be packing all that up. So let's get started. practically about it. I got a few scooters to put up, but they'll have to go onto the other side. Some other tips that I have, with winds getting up high, leave your stabilizing jacks down, your slides out. That way that you have better independence balance. You're not on your shocks, because if you get a strong wind coming in on your shocks, you can sway the motorhome or your fifth wheel or anything else, and then it's easier for it to blow over. So something else that we prep for, if we have a storm coming in, I'll go ahead and top off the tanks, fill them up all the way. Puts more weight in the bottom, but also, just in case the water goes out, you still have water in the tank. So we have solar, so I'm not too worried about power. Of course, there's an onboard generator too. As long as we don't retain any damage when we return back to the rig, we're good to go. Now, you may have questions about the flag mount that I left up, and then my Magna shades. I have Magna shades on this unit as well. As far as the storms we've been through so far, I haven't had any problems with any of that flying off. Not saying it won't happen in the future, but I know that the wind got up to about 84 miles per hour the other night, and everything was still intact. We even had golf ball size hail, which I was really impressed with the solar panels. Doesn't show any sign of damage or anything like that. So hopefully we still have the same luck with tonight. So, but I'll go ahead and take you around in the back, and we'll go over sewer hoses and water hoses. So, as you can see right now, I'm filling up our fresh water tank. As far as the water hoses and the sewer hose, I'll leave them out. It's not going to go anywhere. It's attached to the motorhome itself. And then also, I don't know if you can see it, but the sewer hose is actually screwed down the cap end. The only problems we've had during the storm is just maybe my downfall cradle will fly off a little bit. I'll just pick it up, throw it back under it. So, but as far as the water hoses and everything, I leave them intact. We do have a surge guard inside the unit, and we're grounded real good, so it'll trip if there's lightning or anything like that for the entire unit, and it'll automatically switch to solar, and it won't bring any current coming in from the breakers on the outside. So we're good on that as well. And if you don't have a surge guard, I do recommend getting one. We have one built into the rig. We had it installed, but you can buy them to where you can have them plugged into the breaker on the outside. So some of them are more sensitive than others, but it is a lifesaver. So something to think about investing in. So a few other factors to take into consideration when you know there's a storm blowing in. Try to find you a shelter, somewhere that you can take and shelter in place when they do put out the warnings. You do not want to stay in your motor coach or your fifth wheel, your travel trailer, if all possible. If there's a storm shelter or a bathroom facility, or if you're mooch docking like us, there's a shelter here. So be sure to have that planned in advance. We typically, if we get on site, especially Thousand Trails or anything like that, it's typically the bathrooms. You definitely want to research it, especially if it's storm season or just knowing in general, is trying to figure out what you're going to do if something happens. So those are some of the top few things that you might want to consider. So have that NOAA radio, fresh batteries of course. Make sure you keep those. I keep this if we go to bed. I have Velcro on it. It goes up next to me, and it's turned up so that way if it goes off I can hear it. During the day, if I know there's storms in the area, I take this and put it in the living room or up by the driver's window or something like that where I know it's got a signal, so that way we're notified. So be checking the local news. Another consideration, I typically find apps for the weather stations that are local, so I normally have them downloaded, and then also use the Weather Channel. So that is a free app. Anything that you can take appropriate action for is great to make sure you and your family is safe. from any type of disaster or anything like that. Sadly, this year there's been several full-time families that have been hit. Some of them totaled their home out. So you want to take precautions when needed. We've been lucky this year. We haven't heard anybody getting injured or anything like that. I know with the storms going through the areas, there's been a lot of injuries and deaths, but as far as full-time families, I haven't heard anything. So that's great news. So let's keep that up and take your precautions. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of our content, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'll be sure to put something out every week, if not every other week. It just depends on our schedules. So until next time, thanks for watching.